Okay, the slope of a line refers to the steepness of a line. So think of ski slope. If you go skiing, would you rather ski on a slope that looked like this, or depends on your level of ability, right? Which one is steeper, A or B?
A.
Right, A is steeper. Here's another line. Which line is steeper? A or B?
B.
Good. Okay, so the slope refers to the steepness of line, and there's a way that you can actually calculate the slope. Okay, we're going to learn how to calculate slope of a line, and you're going to see that the greater the slope, the steeper the line. So the higher the number, once you calculate the slope, the greater the number that you get, you know that's going to be a steeper line. Okay, and I'll show you how, a couple different ways that you can calculate slope. Slope refers to, okay, so let's say this is my line. It refers to the rise of the line, which is the vertical distance, right? This is how the line is rising, over the run, which is the horizontal distance. Okay, so slope is rise divided by run. So you're going to calculate from, let's say this was 0, and let's say this was at 10. Let's say it rose by 10, and let's say it went from here to 5. Let's say that this point was at 5. 10 over 5, 10 divided by 5.
Oh, 2.
Right. If that was the case, you would say that this line right here has a slope of 2. Okay, we're going to calculate different slopes of lines. This is a line that I've drawn. I can pick any 2 points that are on that line to calculate the slope. Okay, so I can choose this point and this point, and I can count the rise. So let's see what this line rises by. You always want to go vertically straight up. So what does this rise by?
2.
Okay, and what's the run?
5.
Good. So the slope of this line is
2.5.
2 over 5. It's rise over run, okay? So it would be 2 divided by 5. So you're going to have a decimal, 0.4. Okay, if I chose this point and this point, do you think we're going to get a different answer? Do you think the slope's going to be different?
I think the slope's going to be the same.
Yes. Because it's a straight line, it means that whatever we increase by here, whatever the rise is here and whatever the run is, it has to be the same here. Otherwise, the line wouldn't be straight. It wouldn't be going up straight. So it's kind of like your rate of change. It increases by the same amount every single time, or decreases. So I want you to count, use this color, the rise from here to here. So you're going to count how far up it rises, and then the run. Okay, so you got a rise of 4 and a run of 10. So what's the slope? Rise over run.
4 over 10.
Good. Okay, and what's 4 divided by 10?
40%.
Yeah, which is 0.4. 2 divided by 5 is also 0.4. You got the same slope. Doesn't matter which points you choose. If you have these 2 points and you plot them on the grid, we can actually just count the squares to find the slope, right? How do you find the slope again? By counting. You're looking for the
run and the rise.
Good. We're looking for the rise, and then we're going to divide it by the run. So let's start by just counting again, and then I'm going to show you how to use the formula. So counting the rise and the run. Because you counted this way, you know that the run is positive, right? Across. What about the rise? You counted from here to here, so you were counting down. So would it be a positive or negative?
Negative.
It would be a negative, and you counted 7. So how would you write the slope if it's rise divided by the run? Can you write the slope for me using these values? Rise.
Oh.
Good. And then the run. So the slope of this line is equal to negative 7 divided by 2. Okay? I'm going to show you how to use a formula where you don't actually have to graph it. You can just use the coordinates. Okay? So we know that this coordinate is xy, and this is xy, right? We always read a coordinate x and then y. So So because we have two coordinates, just to distinguish between the two of them, I'm going to call this 1. Okay, so I have x1, y1, that's my first coordinate. And then my second coordinate, I'm going to call it x2, y2, just so you know the difference between the two coordinates. When you are calculating the rise, okay, so our first point is located at 5, 3, and this point is located at 7, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here's 1, 2, 3, -4, and then we have 5 and 3. When you are counting the rise, okay, we're going from basically from here, right, from 3, which was y, all the way down to -4, which was also y. We're drawing it visually. We're going from 3, this point was at 3 for the y values, right? We're looking at our y values right now, which is our rise. How would you find the difference between 3 and -4? How would you find the distance between those two?
You would subtract.
Right, exactly. We would subtract. So we would take we would do 3 and we would take away -4. What's 3 take away -4?
Do you know she's scratching in a pack?
3 take away -4 would be 7. This refers to my rise, positive 7. The run, okay, the run goes from where? Looking at our x values, let's say I start here, 5. The run goes from here to here, which is from 5 to 7. Okay, to find the difference between those two, I can do 5 take away 7, which is what?
Which is -2.
-2. So here I have a run of -2 and a rise of positive 7. A positive and negative make a negative, right? So would you agree that -7/2 is the same as positive 7 over -2? Are these equal? Is it the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah. So what you've done here, let me just flip the page. Looking back at the two coordinates, what we did was we subtracted our y values, right? We took 3 take away -4, because we know that the y values is what shows our rise, correct? The difference in the y values. And then how did we get the run? We subtracted the difference in the x values. Slope is equal to rise divided by run. So 3 take away -4, again, 7. 5 take away 7 is -2. That was our slope. So the formula you're actually using here is you're subtracting your y values, because that's our rise, and you're dividing it by the difference between the x values. Is always equal to the rise over run, or without graphing, you would subtract your y values divided by the subtraction of the x values, okay?
Made with Doodlecast Pro.